You're making one right decision today. You're listening to Handcuffs and Sage.
Three badass moms bringing you all the true crime and paranormal your heart desires.
I'm Red.
I'm Timo.
I'm Dre. And don't let your kids listen. Seriously, just don't.
Hey, it's Handcuffs and Sage.
Woo!
Woo! This is Red.
Hey, this is Timo.
And this is Dre.
In the house.
What?
Oh my God, Dre was like, and this is Red.
Well, you guys all did a little jiggy, so I was like, ooh.
Oh my gosh. Anything new, fun this week?
Oh man, guys. I promise. This is like insane. It's like the stupidest thing I ever thought to do, and I feel so sorry for my husband because he's the best and will do whatever I ask. I don't know why. Because
he's obsessed with
don't tell him. But if he said no, I would be like, okay, babe. You know, no, that's not true either. I'm just kidding.
No way. That's how I am with my hubby. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, we're gonna find a way. There will be a way. So I have a friend who makes pools, right? And he came over to the house like last year before times, and he quoted us on this like beautiful pool with a slide with all of it. We're gonna like, make it beautiful back there. And then COVID happened, and so our plans kind of like went to shit. But we were supposed to have a pool this summer. That was the plan, and that didn't happen. So Ricky was like joking around because he was working, and he was like, you know what, how much is an above ground pool? I'm going to pay for it. And then it just sparked something in my mind. And I was like, you know what, we're going to put a pool in. So I went online, ordered it from Amazon. It's like a 15-foot by 42-inch, perfect for this little family. And I just thought, as soon as it gets here on Tuesday, we're going to put it up and we're going to be swimming on Wednesday. Cool. Let's do it.
We're such Sagittarius because that's how our mindset gets easy. Easy.
This is so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. So we put it out. Yeah, the whole thing. We did it. We put it all up. And then when he started filling the water like Wednesday morning, I have half day Wednesdays. I was all about it. We're going to go swimming as soon as I get home. And then there's like a 4-inch discrepancy because our land is Santa Clarita. Hello. And we live unleveled. And so he started like looking at, well, what if it's 4-inch discrepancy? Who cares? She said, it doesn't matter, whatever. And then he started seeing like all these disasters on YouTube. Like the pool's just like full on flood the house and whatever. And he's like, that ain't gonna happen. So, I'm so glad that he's a smart man because he took it down. And then we went to Lowe's and he got like 2x4s and we dug them into the ground where it was like level. And everywhere we went, we level. So then we were like, all right, well, now we need dirt. Great. So we went and borrowed my brother's truck. Some lady in Santa Clarita was giving away free dirt.
Yes.
Yay, free dirt. Just throw it in there. No, it was so dirty. There were so many heavy rocks in there.
The dirt was dirty.
What? Yeah, there was like rocks and Nerf bullets or whatever. So I'm going to show, I swear to you guys, I'm going to put a TikTok together and like show you step by step all the bullshit that we went through to get this sand sifted through.
Can you do the Benny Hill music?
Oh my God. The only thing is that I don't have it recorded on video because my stupid camera decided to not work back there. That's getting fixed. But it was insane and a lot of work, backbreaking, like shoveling, like all kinds of dirt all through from the front yard to the backyard, and happy to report that the floor is level.
Yeah.
And the pool is up. It's finally getting filled right now. Like,
yay!
And then you have these really cool little wooden like tile looking things to make it look like a fancy deck. You said you got this from IKEA. Did you go to IKEA or did you order them from IKEA?
No, I did. I went to IKEA. They have like a limited amount. Dude, the line to get into IKEA is fucking crazy.
Did you see succulents there? Tell me the truth.
I didn't, I swear. But I also was not looking. Like
it always goes back to succulents.
There's a lot of stuff that's kind of like closed off there. Like they don't have the bedroom department. Stuff is like getting worked on. They only let in a few people at a time. So
the succulents are like, if they had them, it was like at the very end before you walked into the warehouse. like in the little gardening area. Last year I went, or 2 years, no, I think it was last year I went, and they had some really like exotic ones that I had never seen before. That's the whole reason why I want to go and look.
Yeah.
Because like I'm getting the same old ones that are just the same boring ones. I want to get some fun exotic-y ones, but I don't need them, but I want them.
Well, next time I decide to wait in that like 45-minute line at IKEA, I'll let you know. I'll just pick them up for you. How's that?
She'll handle it.
But those tiles are really cool. They're teak tile. They have like plastic on the bottom and they snap into place.
Cool.
And they're super cute. When you put them all together, really beautiful and
it
really
looks very bougie.
Super
very
fancy.
But they were,
like I try to get these teak tiles from like Walmart because I was like, oh, they should be cheap there. No way. Those things are really, really expensive. Like I think it was like 9 square feet was like $18 at IKEA.
Oh wow.
And,
excellent.
Did it.
Originally we were gonna like use that as our floor and put the pool on top of that, but that didn't happen. So all kinds of
but you really don't want that under your pool though, I don't think, because if someone like falls in or whatever, like you hit that hard wood. You want to have the sand under there so that it kind of softens the blow. I'm like I said, I'm an 80s kid, and that was big time in the 80s. Those doughboys, we called them back in the day.
The doughboys. Yep.
Yeah, me and my sister just like rocked the doughboy pools. Like,
I'm so excited.
Fun.
Tomorrow, as soon as I get home, I'm like racing home and get in there as soon as possible.
You guys worked your asses off. Good job, you guys. Good job.
Get a floaty and like lay on it with your cocktail and then send us a pic. And we'll be
Hell
like,
you
so bitch. Now you have to invite us over.
You bitch.
You
bitch.
You beach. Yeah, all beaches.
You beaches.
Yep.
So we kind of got a little crazy with the fall of Cabal, talking about all sorts of things. And I don't know if this happens to you, but you like click on something, you look something up, right? You click on it, and then that leads to something, which leads to something, which, okay. So that's what happened to me for this week for this story.
Really?
Okay?
Oh, okay.
So to give you an idea how I ended up with this story, I looked up the cannibal restaurant in LA that we talked about.
Ooh, okay.
Like, who are they killing in order to make this happen?
I really wanted to know how that
are they
worked.
Eating?
Excellent.
Right.
Awesome.
That is correct. So I ended up going down my own rabbit hole and ended up with this crazy story I had never heard about ever.
Yay.
Unheard of.
Unheard of, because I know all about it. So this story is about a cannibal. So cannibal, make sure that kids are not in the room. This is a mommy daddy story.
Okay.
Only mummies and daddies can hear about cannibals. Okay. Cool. It is so crazy. I really can't wait to tell you this story because it'll really blow your mind. And Reeve, if you're listening, don't eat any egg bites while you're listening. She did that before. She started to gag when we were talking about it. I love that she messaged me that.
So you guys,
thanks a lot, guys. I was joking because of you.
So we are like bomb ass working moms here, you guys, and we decided we're gonna like tag team it and like do our Down the Rabbit Hole episode and our Handcuffs and Sage episode back to back tonight. It's Sunday evening, and of course, if you guys have not listened to our Down the Rabbit Hole episodes, we do a Widdle of the week at the end, and it's just, Timo here, we just kind of like, I kind of do some little fun riddle, and you guys have to guess it, and then you can send your guess on social media, and we're like, yay, whatever. So we just like got finished recording this week's Down the Rabbit Hole. I gave the answer to last week's Widdle of the Week. And when we're done, I go and I look, and there's a message from Reeve, and she guessed the right answer. So we're like in sync with her.
Yeah.
She got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
We're
very proud of her.
connected.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She did a good job.
Good job,
Let's see.
Reeve.
Let's see if she gets this week's though.
Yeah.
This was a
I
tough
can't think.
one. Yeah.
This one's tough because my head goes straight to the gutter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you do some naughty ones.
They're
girl.
all naughty. They're all
Yeah,
naughty.
she's
That's
very
right.
naughty.
But the
No,
answers
you're
aren't
naughty.
naughty. You little dirty birdies with your
Yeah.
naughty
Yeah,
answers.
we're the dirty ones.
Sure. You're the one
All
coming
right,
up
y'all.
with these naughty little things.
Uh-huh. So this is the story of Armand Mavis. Have you heard of Armand Mavis? Ooh,
No.
I don't know. I think I may.
crazy. Really?
I wouldn't be surprised if you knew about this.
Yeah, I
Cannibalism?
think I might, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So cannibalism really disgusts me, right?
Mhm.
I think it's normal for humans to be like, ugh, right?
Right.
And I figured out why. So we are made to feel that way about cannibalism because if we ate each other, humans can give each other certain diseases that affect the brain. That's why we don't want to eat each other.
That's what
That's
I said.
why-
Remember?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
told you guys that. I'm like, it makes you cray.
It makes you cray. That's also why we don't like incest, because we know that creates genetic issues, right? So, you know, being
I thought you
human,
said
you're like,
insects,
no.
like mosquitoes.
At first I thought that too. I was like, yeah, I fucking hate them too, man, because I'm
Yeah.
eaten up by these fucking mosquitoes.
Fucking mosquitoes.
Yeah, we hate mosquitoes and incest.
Yeah.
Both. Okay.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So Armand Mavis, this gentleman is from Germany. He's the German. He was born December 1st, 1961. His family is very interesting. Okay. So when his parents got together, his mom was 40 and his dad was 21.
Get it,
Ooh,
girl.
What?
Wow.
She was all, come here, little boy.
Mhm.
He was an officer, right? And I guess back then that was enough to buy a 36-room mansion, a 16,000 square foot mansion in Germany. So they were kind of rolling in it. He bought this beautiful place for the family. The mom, though, was very manipulative and controlling. She was a crazy bitch. She was a terrible person, okay? She was always accusing the dad of cheating on her. Like, there's a 20-year difference. I'm sure she's
Right.
always worried he's out getting some strange, right?
Mhm.
And he says that they were just always fighting, okay? It was very toxic. And one day when he's about 7, the parents are in a fight. His dad walks out of the house, gets in his car, drives away, and never sees them again. Isn't that sad?
Sad.
Mhm.
That hurt my heart, like hearing about that. So he had 2 older siblings, but they were way older, right? His mom was pretty old, right?
Old,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
So he had 2 older siblings they left the house as soon as they could. It was a very toxic home. So they're gone. The dad is gone, and he's left with his mom, who just was awful. They said she was not loving to him, not affectionate. She made him do like the cleaning, the cooking, the shopping at 7, right?
Oh God.
So she was the devil, okay? And he was kind of a loner. There was not a lot of kids in the town that they lived in. He read a lot, and when he was about 10 years old, he really liked Robinson Crusoe, and there's something in that book pertaining to cannibalism, right? The 2 friends are helping each other get away from cannibals. And he just thought that that was really interesting. And he really honed in on the idea of cannibalism. Like, if you eat someone, right, when you eat them, they're with you forever and can't leave you.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that's what had been done to him. Okay? It's all very psychological.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hear this. This is how people get made to grow up to do really fucked up things, is when they're in a home, you know, mistreated, abused, abandoned, right? This is why we are good to each other, to keep from these things ending up happening later on. So when he was 19 years old, he left home and he joined the West Germany army, and he wanted to be in the army for life. That's what he wanted to do. Okay. He was in the armed forces for about 12 years. He had some friends that were girls, but never like girlfriends. Okay. Never really got to that place. And he would ask his friends, like, am I gay? Like, am I gay? And his friends were like, that's your decision if you're gay. We don't know you're gay. And then one of his friends was like, yeah, we all thought he was gay. It was like, he didn't know, but we all knew, right? So he started drinking a lot, like a lot, to the point where he got into a car accident because he was drinking, and he lost his license, and then got his license back finally, and got into another accident for drinking.
Oh, come on.
And because of that, he had to leave the armed forces because he had a serious drinking problem. So he was kicked out of the army, and he moved back in with his mom in this big old mansion when he was 32 years old.
And how old was his mom?
1,000,000 years old.
I'm sure.
Good question, Timo.
Oh, geez.
So he ends up becoming a computer engineer and gets actually like a pretty good job doing that. And it was connected to helping banks with their computer system, right? So he had a pretty good job. And then after work, he'd go home and take care of his terrible mom. And that was his life. Okay. So it is. But about this time is when something kind of crazy happened. The internet, the World Wide Web.
Dangerous.
It is dangerous. So he gets on the internet and he starts plopping in things. Bloop, 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 bloop. And somehow, he said, he found a community for cannibals.
Oh.
Now, I know how he found it. He put in cannibals. Okay.
Did you find
mystery solved? Okay, so
did you find it? Did you find a cannibal community too when you were researching the story?
I found a lot of sick shit, dude.
Oh,
there's a lot of sick shit just to deal with this story, but there's a lot. We go ahead and Google cannibals. It's a lot of people.
Oh my God.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe I won't.
Yeah, don't. No. And don't eat steak while we're finishing up this story either. Nope. So he found a community for cannibals. Now, this whole time before the internet, he thought he was the only one that like thought about this stuff, right? But then the internet happens. He finds there's other people who are also interested in eating the flesh. And he starts like reading the forums, kind of like putting his own thing in it, learning about, you know, the cannibal fantasies. So some people have the fantasy of eating, and other people have this fantasy of being eaten. Okay?
Nope.
Did you guys hear what I just said?
Nope.
People
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Want to be eaten.
Well, yeah.
But like,
stop it.
Not the flesh. The outside.
It's flesh. It's the outside flesh.
The outside. Okay. So there's something
but I have heard
with that.
I have heard that before, where there are people that have no desire to actually consume flesh themselves, but would love people to like nah on them.
I just like, okay, so are you gonna break skin and make, like, you're gonna bite my skin off? What do you
Exactly.
What?
See?
Like, I have
that thoughts.
I want all of my body intact. I don't want anybody to sliver off a little piece and yum yum yum.
Like I've heard of like the food fantasy, like where someone likes to watch someone eat, right?
Yeah.
But this is like a whole other
So what do you call someone that likes to be eaten? Dead. Just kidding. No, really, I'm serious.
She'll be here all week.
They're dead inside.
No, I'm serious.
So what they call these people, it's called love cannibalism. Okay, where two people find each other that kind of, one wants to eat and one wants to be eaten. It's called love cannibalism. Don't Google it.
I am.
Oh my God, she is. I can tell.
I'm doing it right now.
So Armand, he's a computer engineer, right? And he finds these websites. And so he decides, I'm going to build my own website, right? So that's what he does. And one of his favorite websites, it's actually not up anymore. It was called Cannibal Cafe.
Love it.
Love it, right? So he became obsessed with these websites, and people would like role play, right? So people on there weren't about doing it really. It was really about role play, right? Because how could you actually make that work in real life, right?
Right.
So Armand would take it a step further. He'd go and get meat from a butcher. He would form it like a human would look, and he would take pictures of it, post it on the website, and say that, oh, I killed this person and I ate this person. And everyone on the website like idolized him. He was like king of the cannibal on these websites. Like they thought he was actually doing it in real life, not just role playing, right? Okay. So September 1999, Armand gets home. What's up? Oh my God, my mom's dead. She freaking died. And it was the best day of his life. He said, like, she was finally dead and he was totally free from her. And I know you guys are all thinking that he ate her. I have great news. He did not. Okay? We can all breathe.
Okay, great.
And there's an important reason why here. He did not want her to be with him forever. Okay? Because that was really where his head was. He wanted someone to be with him forever. Right? Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes. So he was free from her. She gone. Okay? And he wanted to turn like one of the 36 rooms in this mansion into like a cannibal room, right? He like really wanted to be full freak with it. And he called it like a slaughter room. So there was like meat hooks hanging and like a cage, and it was super creepy, gross. So 2 months after his mom is dead and he's feeling pretty good, he starts advertising on the website, and he's asking for a volunteer to be eaten. Okay, how do you put an advertisement together for that? Like, you down? I ain't gonna kill you, just gonna eat you, right? Weird.
So was it the fat that was being eaten? Because I kind of dig that a little bit, like, you know, like lipo a little bit, you know, like
nope.
You want to eat a little bit here and a little bit here and make me a little bit thinner here. No. Yeah. All right.
You end up being really skinny. They're like, what's your secret? Somebody ate the shit out of me. Okay.
Oh my gosh, no.
So in the advertisement, he was saying, you know, if you want to die, right? Like, I would like to eat your body if that's something you're interested in.
Oh no.
So he put this advertisement out in German and English, so spreading a wide net, right? You never know. He was looking for like a normal build guy, 18 to 30, wanting to die. Come to me. I'll butcher you and eat your horny flesh.
Ew.
Ooh. I don't know what horny flesh is. So gross. Okay. So he gets a response. Oh my God, I can't believe he got a response. A guy said he would do it, right? That he had a fantasy about being eaten. Okay. How did you get there? Who hurt you in your life? But this guy said that's what he wanted, right? So he goes to the mansion. He lays on the table. Armand starts telling him, you know, what he's going to do to him, what's going to happen. And the guy like sits up and says, just kidding. Not interested in this. I don't want you to eat me. Peace.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Oh, no.
Right. So Armand said, that's okay. You can go, because the whole thing with Armand is he did not want to murder someone. Okay. His thing was not about murdering. His obsession was eating someone. So if someone wasn't down, it ain't gonna work. You got to be a willing participant here. Okay. Okay. So Armand would make paper mache bodies, and he would paint mannequins to look like dead bodies, and then he would take photos of them and he would put them up on the website and tell people, oh, I killed them and I ate them, like, because he hasn't gotten any real people yet, so he's making up these stories so people think he's the shit, right? King of the cannibals. So he has his slaughter room. It's coming along. He's got it going. There's no windows. There's a cage. Like I said, some meat hooks. It's pretty gross. And then he hears from this guy, Bernd Brandes. Okay. So Brandes is an engineer. He's 34 years old. He had been married, but then he went to his wife and said, you know what? I'm actually bisexual. And the wife wasn't digging it. So they ended up getting a divorce. And then he was in a relationship with a man named Yuri. And he had some issues. Okay. What's it called? He was like an extreme masochist. Okay. Okay. So remember that. Okay. So he goes on the website, he sees Armand's advertisement, and he volunteers himself, okay? And they start emailing each other back and forth about what they want. Armand wants to eat someone. Brandes wants to be eaten. And he starts giving Armand some ideas, too, for, you know, after he's dead. He said, you can use my skull as an ashtray.
Oh, wow.
You know, DIY. Right. He said that he had this, he said that if they were going to do this, what he really, really wanted was for Armand to cut his penis off and that they could both eat it. That was his fantasy. Okay, so I want y'all to take that in.
Yeah, I don't need this anymore, right? Come on.
So
it's not important.
Right. I guess he hated his penis. He didn't want it. He had this crazy fantasy about it being cut off. They could eat it. the whole thing is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you get to that point in your life where that's what you want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they set a date. It's a date. March 9th, 2001.
It's my birthday.
It's finally your birthday.
So in 2001, you were celebrating and shit was going down in Germany,
oh,
man.
My goodness.
Oh
wow.
my
It was
God.
going down.
Yikes. How old was I? I got to bring out the calculator. I'm a little bit buzzed.
19
You're
years ago.
26?
You said 2001?
Yeah.
28, baby.
Okay.
Sexy. So Brandis gets to the mansion, okay, and Armand like goes to the kitchen. He's making some tea, and when he comes back in the room, you know, Brandis is nude, and he's like, "I want you to see what you're gonna have for dinner. Do you like what you're gonna have?" Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. So
he's like,
both. So some stories and things I heard said that they had sexual relations. Other ones didn't mention it. I don't know if they had sexual relations. I don't know.
Why not? I would.
I mean, you got to use it one last time.
Yeah.
One last time for the road, for good time's sake. So Brandon was a little worried about the pain. Yeah.
A little? Just a little.
He was a little concerned about it.
Mm.
So they both agreed Armand would give him like these sleeping pills with some alcohol and actually like some cold syrup. And he took it, okay, and willingly. He was a willing participant in all of this. And that's really, we have to remember that.
You need to sign this like.
Yeah, did he get it in writing? I want to know.
He got it on film.
Oh, excellent.
Filmed all of it.
Good job, Armand.
This is crazy. So he's feeling a little like woo, woo. And so he lays down. Brandis lays down. And Armand starts to cut off his penis. And Brandis starts screaming.
No.
Screaming. Okay. And blood is squirting. And Armand like hurries up, grabs like a skillet. He starts like cooking it up, right? So both of them can eat it because that's what he wanted, right?
Oh my God.
And they were trying to eat it, but Armand said it was too chewy and it tasted horrible. Like they could not eat the penis. It tasted like shit. It was too chewy. It was too chewy. It was like the calamari of the body. Okay.
I get it. I get it.
Okay.
Well,
note to self: never eat the penis.
I'm thinking of ways to make it better.
Some garlic. You got the seasoning.
Chop it up. Marinate it in cubes.
Yeah. Okay.
Cubes. In pubes?
No, not in pubes. I know. Marinate it.
You really should have looked at recipes first,
right?
Before doing this.
We're sick fucks, man.
What if we Google like how to cook a penis?
How to properly cook a penis for your guests?
I feel like the government is watching me now.
Oh,
no, we're talking about calamari. It's the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Same
Smaller
thing.
In bite-sized pieces.
Right. So our homie Brandis is bleeding terribly, of course. Okay.
Right.
So Armand puts him in the bathtub with some hot water, right? And he's not dying. He keeps going in to check on him, and homie is still alive. And Armand even said at one point he went in and started like reading a whole like Star Trek book he had just to like pass the time. And Brandis was not dying. So at the 3-hour mark, he goes in and he says he kisses him on the head and then he slits his throat.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. So then in the film, you can see that he like hangs his body up, right? And he chops his body up. He puts a lot of it in the freezer. He puts the skull in the garden, which he had requested it to be used as an ashtray, but he put it in the garden. He set the table to look real nice. Okay, he set up some candles. He got the nice china out. He got a really nice red wine to pair. And he cooked the meat like a rump roast. He made princess potatoes and sprouts with it. And he took his first bite and he said it was the craziest moment because he had wanted that moment for 30 years. And it was all coming together in that one moment. And he said that it was amazing, that he was eating him and that he would be a part of him forever. That it tastes like pork, okay, but it was very good. Okay, so he took pictures, of course, of everything because he has to post on the website. Hello, the cannibals want to see.
Right.
Right. So over a 6 to 8 month period, he eats about 45 pounds of Brandis.
Oh my God. Over 6 month period.
6 to 8 months.
Okay.
He'd go in, he'd grab it, cook it different ways, got funky with it, and he was all about it. Okay. So then he is basically like running out or really wants to do it again with somebody else and starts posting on the sites again, right? He wants a volunteer, the same thing as before. Okay. So this Austrian student sees this. How did he end up on this website? But he sees it and he's like, what is going on? And like answers the advertisement and like starts talking to Armand a little bit. And he's like, holy shit, this guy is for real. So he contacts the police. He calls the police and he said, this guy is killing and eating people over here. Okay. So December 10th, 2002, police stopped by. Hey, we heard you like to eat people. What's up? Okay. So they're looking around. They're not really seeing anything. And they look in this.
Ate it all?
Should have. They look in this freezer and underneath some pizza boxes, they find this meat. And they're like, what is this, homie? And he said it was like wild pig meat. Okay. And they said, no, I don't think so, because there's skin on it. And then he's like, okay, you're right. I eat people. And totally confessed, like, didn't deny anything else. So the only time he lied is when he said it was pig meat. Everything after, he was like, yes, I'm a cannibal. Because cannibalism is not illegal. In Germany.
Oh,
it's
Germany.
not.
Okay.
Yeah. He admits to it. He gives them photos, the VHS, his computer, and is like, this is what I did. And he was a willing participant. This is what he wanted. Okay. But they arrested him. And on January 30th, 2004, he was charged with manslaughter and he got 8.5 years. Okay. And I was like, what the fuck? This crazy like cannibal? What is this story about? So Armand was pissed. He's like, look, I didn't do anything illegal. This guy was totally all about it, gave his consent, right? We were eating that penis together, homeboy. And so it went back to trial. And it was a crazy story, and people everywhere were like talking about the cannibal in Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they showed in court the video he had made.
Oh God.
Yes. Could you imagine?
Damn.
Could you imagine seeing that?
No, thank you.
Yeah. So after the second trial, he was actually found guilty of murder. So it even got worse in 2006 and got life in prison. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So Armand did a bunch of interviews, like 60 Minutes, like all these documentaries talking about it, and he's just very open and honest about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I was a willing participant, he was a willing participant, but like after all this therapy, I know that I still shouldn't have done it, right? It's just that I am a cannibal, right? It's all about, I just want that person to be with me. I didn't want to murder anyone. It's not about murdering, right? But you have to eat the person, right? So he's now a vegetarian.
What? It's like, if I can't have human, I don't want anything.
That's right. That is correct.
Wow.
And that is the story of Armand Mavis. Yay!
Oh, wow. Yes.
Woo!
All right.
That's awesome.
You guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Hang on. So as you're talking, I'm like, I got my laptop up right here. And so I was like, how do you cook a penis? What pops up? No shit. There is an asexual chef in Japan where cannibalism is not illegal. He underwent a voluntary genital removal. And there's pictures there's pictures of what he went through, basically. I'm gonna flip the screen so you guys can see it. So this is his skinny body, okay? And then it's like there's like all these warnings on this website, like don't go further, don't you dare, this is your warning, okay? And then you guys hang on to your pants because they show like his penis severed. I think he had it like medically removed, right? Like he was asexual and he doesn't identify as male or female. So he did that. And then he charged $250 for just 1 inch, only just an inch of his penis. So only 5 people paid $250 for the privilege of eating his penis. God. Insane, right?
Well,
so the people that paid
it?
I don't know. I'm sure it's in here, but the people that paid $250 couldn't eat it because they said
Look at it.
No.
Okay, hold on, guys.
Crazy times, man.
The people that paid for it, they couldn't eat it because it was too chewy. They said it was, and he even served his scrotum. They said the scrotum was leathery, the testicles were hard on the outside and gluttonous in the middle. All right, and yes.
hey, you guys, eat a dick, okay?
Go eat a dick.
Go eat a dick.
You could see the hair on the scrotum, guys.
You know what? That's rude. I just shave first.
Yeah, shave that fucker first.
Very rude. Very rude.
Not thoughtful at all.
Grody.
Well,
that is so
Dre,
crazy.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel sick inside.
I know.
Wow, that is crazy.
I have to be honest. I'm just not down with cannibalism.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah.
I just don't know how you survive. Like even like, I think in my search just now while you were talking, I think what they do is they cut open like the skin, right? Like they cut a deep gash into like, say, like a thigh or butt, and then they might like pull out like pieces of flesh,
right? Like a little flank.
So it's like a slice, like, like a surgical incision, and then you go in and you pull out skin. So you're not eating like a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to survive that. But I'd imagine that it would be very painful. So I was researching to see what scars might look like on people who were the people they ate that survived, you know.
Just walking around, you're like, I know what you did.
Yeah, why is there a hole in your ass? Oh, you're a love
I know
cannibal.
what you did.
Ew.
Yeah. Love cannibalism. Woo!
There you go, guys.
Or like when people have like tummy tucks and stuff, you know how like
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, you know
like
how
the
they have
extra
stuff. Why don't they just give that to the cannibals?
Oh, I would give that away. Like hopefully I'll have my tummy tuck this year and they can have it. I don't want it.
Have my fat and my skin.
You can have my fupa.
I bet I'm delicious.
Oh my God, I should sell Red's fupa. You see it on eBay. Cannibals only, man.
Whatever profits you make are for the podcast.
We need equipment. I need someone to eat my fupa.
Oh my God, my face hurts from smiling too hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fupa.
I don't know. I feel like I need to delete my search history.
I know. The stuff I was looking up, I thought, oh, I could be in some serious trouble at some point. Cannibalism.
I have heard of that story before. I don't remember. I'm like 99% sure it was on a podcast somewhere. I've heard that, but I've heard of that guy because Armand like sticks in my head because that's a vampire on.
I know. I was gonna say
interview. That's Antonio Banderas's character, so that just sticks with me. And then Anne Rice actually wrote a book dedicated to Armand, and it's called Armand, and it's like his whole life story. So, anyways,
interesting.
I'm all about them. I'm all about those Anne Rice vampires, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it? Okay. So here we go with some little paranormal here. Timo has been drinking. A little bit. I think Timo's story at the end was a little bit of a mistake because I'm buzzed. All right. So I'm continuing on with the Shudder series, Cursed Films. So the next one is The Omen.
Oh, so good.
Oh, shit.
I love it. I love it so much. I love it. So The Omen was made in 1976. It's a cult classic about a young boy named Damien who bad things happens around him wherever this little boy goes. So Gregory Peck plays the dad, Robert Thorne. Lee Remick plays the mom, Catherine Thorne, and Harvey Spencer Stevens plays Damien Thorne.
Okay.
So basically the movie, it turns out that he is the son of the devil. He's the Antichrist that has returned to the world to take power. So this is really cool. So Robert Munger, he basically was a jack of all trades. He went to law school, he went to acting school, he did a whole bunch of stuff, but he ended up being a religious scholar, and he
what?
A religious scholar.
Oh, I thought you said scholar.
She did.
I have my accent out going on. I did say that, but I thought maybe I was like doing like a little bit of accent going on there. So he was a religious scholar, and he basically was driving down Hollywood Boulevard one day, and he came to the intersection where he said, it's now where they hold all them like Golden Globe and Oscar awards now. And so I'm thinking that's Hollywood. It's not Hollywood and Vine, but I think it's Hollywood and something else, like right where the Kodak Theater is right there. And he said it just like hit him like electricity went through his body, and he kind of like just this thought came to his mind. So he pitched it as, what if the devil was on Earth as a child, and he wasn't really expecting it to go anywhere. He thought maybe he was just like, people are just going to think I'm crazy, I'm full of shit. But Mace Newfield, he was the executive producer of the Omen. He said, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this film. So on Cursed Films, so I'm going to go back and forth from Cursed Films and to research that I did. Hector Avalos, he is a professor of religious studies. He basically said, if you're going to do this film about the devil, you're basically inviting the devil in and expect bad things to happen.
Oh, shit.
Right. And then he said, Satan's greatest trick is to remain invisible. But this film is going to make him visible to the earth, and he's not going to like that too much. So he's going to do everything in his power to not let this film be made. So before filming even started, there's some shit that went down, that they are accounting this as the devil interfering with trying to make this movie not being made.
The devil was on the set, messed up craft service, so the food wasn't delicious.
Yes. Okay, so in Santa Barbara, June 27th, 1975. Okay, so Gregory Peck, he's the main actor of the movie. This was a good amount of time. Like, I'd say this was probably like 6 months before the film was being made. His 30-year-old son, Jonathan, was found dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Oh, no.
And he did not leave a suicide note. So basically, Gregory Peck was like devastated by this. So it really took a lot out of him to actually start filming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So then 2 weeks prior to the film, now they filmed the majority of this movie in England, because it takes place in England. They're in the United States. Thorne becomes ambassador of the United States in England. So he moves him and his wife to England, and their son, Damien, who is probably about 4 or 5 years old at the time. So he was on a plane going to England. This is probably about 2 weeks before filming, and his plane gets hit by lightning. Which is it happens quite a bit. You don't think that that something like that would happen. It does happen. What? And the only thing it really affects is maybe the electricity. So like maybe the lights will go off. It really doesn't hinder the flight being happen. But it is a series of shit that goes down, like maybe the lights go off, things start flashing, whatever, and then it comes back. So it's not, it does affect you to a point where you're probably on the plane and you're being like,
anxiety.
You're like, what the fuck? It's not going to bring the plane down. So that's what happened. So then 2 weeks later, David Seltzer, who was the writer of the screenplay, he was on the plane coming to England, and his plane was hit by lightning.
Interesting.
So it's like, what? You know how they say lightning never hits twice in the same place?
Yeah, right.
Like, what? Like, what's going on? And then there was a third plane that was chartered. This was set to carry like the crew guy, like, like the lights and like the camera dude and all that stuff.
The grips.
Right, exactly. So it was like one of the smaller planes. And at last minute, they decided to switch planes because these businessmen really needed to get where they needed to go, and this was the only flight that was available. So they basically let them take the plane. They took a later plane, and as that plane was taking off, it hit a flock of birds.
That is the shadiest, right? That really fucks up planes.
Right, but supposedly planes have like a deterrence for birds. Like there's something that is emitted where it deters flocks to get in the way, but I don't know what happened and why that didn't happen, why it didn't do it. But they hit like a huge flock of birds. It crashed at the end of the runway, crashing into a station wagon where a woman and her 2 children were in the car.
Oh, no.
Wait. Are the businessmen are in
the plane, right? The businessmen. And the lady and her 2 children were killed, and then 3 others on the plane were killed. the crazy thing was the lady and the children were the family of the pilot on that plane.
Oh, wow.
They had just dropped the dad off at the airport for work, and they were
probably gonna watch it, maybe go by.
Isn't that
Oh my
sad?
God. Yes.
So
oh my God.
Horrible.
Did the pilot survive? You know what I mean?
I think the pilot did survive. Yeah.
Oh,
whoa.
God. Well, that's super fucked.
I know. Yep. Super fucked.
You guys, if we ever have a podcast, let's call it Super Fucked.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Tina's like, so cool.
So cool. So we've talked about this a lot before. So the IRA was very, very active in London during the 1970s. So they had, everyone was staying in hotels around London because that's where they were basically filming, and then off like in the little areas like outside of London. So Mace Newfield, who is the executive producer, him and his wife were staying at one of the poshy hotels like across from Piccadilly. And they decided one night that they were going to go for an evening stroll around London. And they just got out and they heard this huge explosion, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Well, it ended up being a bomb that the IRA had set off. It killed the man that set it off, and 20 others were injured. And this was basically 1 block away from where he and his wife were. So that was bananas on top of that. Right. And then a couple nights later, Peck and Mace and some other, like the director and a couple of the higher ups, they were supposed to have dinner at a place called Scott's, which was, I guess, like really like bougie London restaurant.
I like that name. Sounds sexy.
Scott's, yeah.
Scott's.
Right before they were due to go have dinner, the IRA bombed that restaurant. So none of them were hurt in that.
Well, there goes dinner. Now what do you do?
Yeah, right?
Cannibalism.
So funny thing, Mace. Yeah, so the funny thing is Mace started wearing a cross from that day forward because he's like, there's shit going on. And in the interview, he held the little cross up. It didn't look like a cross. It looked like like a plus sign. It kind of looked Celtic-y. But it didn't look like a cross to me. And I'm like, all right, Mace, whatever you say. If you think that's a cross, okay, but whatever. Okay, you guys have seen The Omen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's been a while.
Okay,
it's been a long while.
I think you guys will remember the scene. So they filmed a part at the Windsor Safari Park. And Mrs. Thorne takes Damien on like a mom-son outing, and they drive through this like safari park where you drive through and you see the animals and whatever. So they're driving through the baboon section, and her car stalls and she can't get it to go, and like all these baboons, they're like realizing that Damien is like the devil, and they're like, well, I gotta kill you, right? So all the baboons are like attacking, and then there's this hilarious part where she finally gets the car going and she like peels out, and there's like baboons that are like falling off and whatever. Come to find out, they had a baby baboon in the car, and I guess baboons are like very like family oriented and very protective. So that's how they got them to act the way they did, because
that's so messed
they
up.
were like, fuck you guys. I know, isn't
really
it? But like when you see the scene, like how the fuck did they get all these baboons to be like, we're gonna kill you, and that's how they did it. They're trying to save the baby. Yeah, they're very like family oriented.
This is before PETA, huh?
Yeah. But the fucked up part of this whole thing was Sidney Bedford. He was the zoo handler that basically was on set, like dealing with all the baboons, but he worked in many different animal areas around the safari. Say that again?
I said, it wasn't Doc Randall. He's always on set with the animals.
No, shut up. Because what I have to tell you has to deal with fucking tigers. That trips me out,
No.
dude. Yeah. So he was also a tiger handler. And I heard two different stories. The first story I heard that he was in his service vehicle. He left his door open for a wrong amount of time, and a tiger actually came in and attacked him and killed him.
And killed him?
Yes, he was 23 years old.
But
he's
then
a baby. I know, but then another story said that he was walking in. You know how, remember when we were doing the Tiger King and we learned all the stuff, how they would have like 2 sets of chain link fences. So like there was one and there was another. So he thought he was in the right one, and he was walking in, and there was like a tiger up like on like some type of something above him, and it jumped on top of him and like crushed his, like bit his skull and killed him that way. I don't know which story was the true one, but those are the two. So, but this handler,
died by a tiger.
He really did die by a tiger. Either way, a tiger had killed him.
That's awful.
Harvey Stevens, he was the little boy that played Damien. They went through like the proper channels of auditioning children to play Damien, and this thing took on forever because they did not find the right kid to play this part. They're like, this kid has to be like fucking special, you know, he has to play the Antichrist. So they decided to go into schools. They decided to like go into parks. They were like full on creepers, like looking at all these all these little boys to play this part, right?
Looking for the Antichrist.
Right. So when they finally found Harvey, they were like, okay, he might be it. I'm not 110% whatever. So there is a part in the movie where the family are going to church, and they're pulling up to the church, and Damien is like looking around. He's like, where the fuck are we going? Like, where the fuck? And then he looks up and he sees this like cross on top of the building, and he starts fucking flipping out. The dad gets out, and then he like starts beating up the mom. He's like, fuck that, I'm not going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So the dad finally gets in the car, and then they take off, right? And the kid calms down. They're like, all right, well, I guess this kid really doesn't want to go to church tonight. So
you better love your Jesus.
Right. So they did an audition with Harvey for this part, and he acted the part perfect. And they're like, book him, but dye his hair black, because he was a little blonde kid. So that's how Harvey got the part in in the Omen. But I guess this kid was a total freak to begin with, and he was like a bratty kid, and he was a monster on set. Everybody hated him. He just was a pain in the ass. He didn't listen. No. Yeah, so he was like really, really, really perfect. So after the movie,
he was perfect for the
He was perfect.
Yeah. He was a shithead.
Like, yeah, you have to have a fucking fucked up kid to play the devil. Come on.
Right.
All the moms bring their kids out. I have a fucked up kid.
Yeah. Not the devil, but the son of the devil. Right. So after the movie, the kid fucking disappeared. And I'm not meaning like he like got kidnapped or whatever, but he kind of like disappeared from the whole Hollywood scene, and he was kind of not seen again for quite a while. We'll talk on that a little bit later.
Did he open up a cannibal restaurant in LA?
Maybe. No,
maybe.
He's actually a little down to earth, like adult. So we'll get to that. So then there were Rottweilers in the scene. Remember, there was Rottweilers. Okay. My ex had a Rottweiler. Her name was Nikki, and she was the sweetest baby ever. Aww. But they are fucking freaky looking animals, and they're known as the devil dogs because of the Omen.
Right.
So there's a graveyard scene where the men get attacked by some Rottweilers. So when they were rehearsing this scene, they had Terry Welsh. He was like the big stunt guy on set. And he's like, I want some extra padding on my suit. So they put extra padding. They actually put like a very thin layer of steel so that, you know, he would be protected. And they did a take of this scene And this fucking Rottweiler went gazonzo on him. He bit through all the layers of his, like everything, all the protective layers. And Terry actually passed out during this. They got the dogs off and everything, but he was like, fuck this. Like, he was like, I hope you guys got the take because I'm not doing this again. So whatever you see on film is what they did. And these dogs are like, I don't know.
Terrifying.
Terrifying. For real.
I grew up with Rottweilers. You know that? I had like two Rottweilers. Yeah.
Were they
My mom had 2 Rottweilers. No, they were. No.
Yikes.
No, they were not.
They were not. They were some scary ass dogs. One of them, I actually saved her from a pit bull across the street, and she was an asshole, right? She was an asshole to me all the time. But when I saved her from the pit bull, you know, pit bulls lock on, right?
Yeah.
And so this pit bull had her by like the neck area. And so like I ran out, jumped the fence, and I like hit the pit bull on the head with a bat. Like, you're not going to get him off unless you do something drastic like that, right? She was still my baby. She was our sugar girl. So when I did that, the pit bull screamed and ran away. After that, I was like her best friend forever. She was so loyal to me always. She would never like, she wasn't mean. They were sweet dogs, but they were mean to like everybody else. They were good partners.
Yeah.
But man, they're scary dogs.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they look like the devil dogs. Like, they're like, yeah. So there's another producer of the film. His name is Harvey Bernard, and there's a part where they're filming in Rome. And I don't know what it is about fucking lightning, but this guy almost got hit by a lightning strike, and he was saved somehow. But that's another crazy freaking thing that happened with filming this movie and fucking lightning.
Getting hit by lightning. Yeah. Not many people get to say that.
Survive it.
Yeah.
I want to bring up this part because it's going to come up later on, but there's 2 nannies of Damien's in the movie. The first nanny is a younger nanny. She's very sweet, very loving, and at Damien's birthday party, she locks eyes with one of the Rottweilers, and somehow this Rottweiler tells her to go do something. So the next scene is she's up on top of like the 5th story building of this mansion in England, and she's like, it's all for you, Damien. And she jumps off and hangs herself, and she's dead. And then another, I think what happened was, I think they wanted the devil's nanny to come into picture. So the dog made this nice one kill herself, and then the older one comes in, and she's the one that stirs the pot and does everything. I'm going to tell you a really fun little fact about that later on. But at the end of the film, Lee Remick, who plays the mom, she's in the hospital because she had an accident where she fell off the balcony, and basically Damien basically causes that to happen. And I don't know what she's doing. She's putting on a robe, or she's doing something, and this person comes into the room, and she thinks that it's her husband. It's really the older nanny. And we think from the film that the nanny pushes her out the window, and she falls like 6 or 7 stories onto the top of a she falls onto top of a ambulance, and she dies. Well, the stuntman that did that scene, when they were filming it, he kind of like fell weird, like they weren't really sure, like, why did you fall that way? And when he landed on the airbag, he was fine, everything. But they're like, dude, what happened? He's like, I felt like I was pushed. Like, I didn't fall right. Like, I felt like I was pushed. So that is fucking crazy right there. And then at the final scene, there's a part where he takes Damien. He's distraught because his wife's dead. He knows his son is the Antichrist. So he's going to take him, and he's like, the only way to get rid of, to save the world is to basically kill this child. So he grabs his son, and he pulls him into a church, and he's going to stab him. Now, Gregory Peck is basically so fucked up with this because he lost his son to suicide, and now they want him to kill his on-screen son. So they decided to film 2 separate endings. So one ending shows 3 coffins, the other ending shows 2 coffins. So they decided not to actually show the actual killing of the little boy. So what happens was he's going to kill Damien. Police officers rush in, they shoot, and they kill Gregory Peck. So you really don't know at this point if Damien was killed or if he was not killed. So that's why they had 2 separate endings showing the mom, dad, and the son, or just the mom and dad at the funeral.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The real ending does show just the mom and dad, and the president of the United States now has Damien as an adopted child. And he's sitting there holding the hand of the first lady.
Yeah.
And he turns around to the screen, and then he gives this like huge smile, like, I didn't die, bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that's the best ending, I think, and whatever.
Yeah.
So after the movie was made, the director, Richard Donner, started receiving like major death threats, letters left and right. Same thing as the Exorcist director.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He said the most craziest one that he received, someone sent him a letter and it said, "Your blood will run in the streets for doing what you just did," which is like so crazy. Like people like fully would go bananas over these anti-Christ, anti going against Catholicism. Like, yeah, people would just go bananas.
Right.
Okay, so there's a part in the movie where there is a guy that's helping Gregory Peck's character, and he gets killed. He's like digging up or doing something in the street, and this truck goes out of control, and this truck has like a big pane of glass on the back of the truck, and the truck's like rolling back, and then it stops. It gets caught on something, but the glass keeps on going and basically beheads this guy. It's a really gross, terrifying part of the movie. Well,
that's the kind of shit that gives me nightmares, guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So, big special effects dude on the Omen. His name was John Richardson. He was sent to the Netherlands. This was like a year after the film came out. He was doing a movie in the Netherlands, and this actually happened on Friday the 13th. He was traveling a road with him, and they said it was his assistant. Her name is Liz Moore. They said it was his fiance, but then other stories have said that it was just his assistant. So I'm not exactly sure what the true story was. Well, they got on a head-on collision on this little road in the Netherlands, and Liz Moore was decapitated in the accident. So when crash came to settle, John Richardson kind of woke up, and the first thing that he saw was a marker sign on the side of the road, and it said Omen, but it was spelled OMMEN, and it said 66.6 kilometers. And
are you fucking with my mind?
No, it truly exists there. Can you believe that?
Oh no.
Yes, that is so fucking crazy.
How do you have something like that happen, right?
Because Omen, I'm sure, was in Dutch, so it meant something totally different. And then 66.6 kilometers is probably some type of normal measurement. But hello, so that's fucking insane. Crazy.
Yes.
So some little fun facts. The first name was the Antichrist. They decided to change it to the Omen later. Sales of Bibles went through the roof after this movie came out.
Yes, please.
Not to save themselves, but because it was based on Revelations, and when the Antichrist comes back and people just wanted to brush up on their like,
oh really?
We're gonna
Bible
brush
history.
up.
Yeah, they were probably like
a little bit.
What the fuck's all this Revelation shit going on? And
so we find out they didn't have Google.
Yeah, and and this is going to go back to kind of what you guys were talking about earlier today, what we're talking about her story. 666 in Hebrew means WWW. So they're connecting that with the internet as being maybe devilish and being the beast. And
no,
it's the root. Yeah,
never.
the root of all evil, which I can understand that.
Yeah.
No, there's only good things on the internet. It's only
when you
been
can find
amazing.
you can find a cannibal.
Oh yeah, you can find some fucked up shit.
Penis eating
Ew.
situations. Okay.
I just get all kinds of fucking weird ass messages now about cannibalism.
I know, right? Oh my god, it's gonna be on your Facebook. Like
people on Instagram, I swear they'll be like, "Why do you hate cannibals? I love cannibals."
Oh my gosh.
You should try me.
Yeah, I'm delicious.
You're gonna
I'm
start
delicious.
getting like.
You should try me.
You're gonna start getting like Groupon invitations to like that cannibal cafe in Los Angeles.
No.
And I'll click redeem.
All right, so they believe that demonic power is still at work, and that the demons are always following everyone that was involved in the movie. So in 2006, there was a reboot of The Omen. Directed by John Moore. Julia Stiles and Liev Schreiber played the Thorns. And then a young little boy named Seamus Darby Fitzpatrick played Damien. And guess what? Mr. Harvey Stevens, who plays the original Damon, appears in this movie as a tabloid reporter. Yeah, so he kind of like comes he finally comes out of the woodwork. That's and kind of like, yeah. So during the filming of this movie, not too many crazy things happen, but they lost 13,500 feet of film during the filming of the 2006 remake. And this actually contained the scene of the 666 birthmark. Remember when the dad's like, oh, and he looks through the little boy's head and he sees 666? Yeah. Well, this was that whole scene, and the lab did not have a clue what happened. It was just all black. So that happened in Poltergeist too, which is really weird. Yeah. Yeah. So Pete Postlewaite, he played Father Brennan in the 2006 reboot. They said that his brother died during filming. So his brother wasn't in the film, but his brother like played a lot of card games, and I guess during the card game he pulled 666s for some reason. And
trip six?
Yeah. And he ended up dying. I don't know.
Bunko.
I don't know during that or after that or what the whole story was, but and then this is my favorite part. Mrs. Baylock, who plays the older nanny. So they have the fun, cool, younger nanny, and then the older, bad nanny comes later on. So in the 2006 remake, guess who plays the new nanny?
That same person.
Mia Farrow.
Oh,
she was Rosemary's Baby. Can you believe that? I love that. Yeah, that's so cool. There you go. The Curse of the Omen.
Ooh. Yay!
Dang, that was good.
They kind of said that they thought that maybe it wasn't a curse, that it was really a blessing, because there was more like close calls than anything in the movie. But still, I think there was a lot of like bad shit that happened too. So I still think it was a curse. Like if you're gonna fucking talk about the devil and do a film regarding shit like that, just like that religious guy was talking about, expect bad shit to happen, because
shit's gonna go down, homie.
Yeah.
Expect it, right?
Yeah.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Whew, man.
That devil.
He's crazy times.
I know, right? That guy.
Yeah.
He does what he wants.
For sure.
All right. It's time for
Bad Story of the Week.
Yeah. Give it.
What up? Right.
Okay, so I have a really sweet story, you guys. It like kind of made me cry a little bit. So there's this guy named Juan Manuel Ballestero, and he was on an island. I have to remember the island. I'm so sorry.
Was it Epstein I don't know Island?
Where he was. No.
Orgy Island.
I forget.
Pedophile Island.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. It was in Portugal, and it's a tiny island called the Santo. Sorry. Puerto Santo. And when COVID first happened, you know, they shut down all the terminal, like all the airports and stuff. And it was all like, nope, stay here. Don't go anywhere. No one's coming in. No one's going out. So flights were all canceled, but he had a 90-year-old grandfather. His grandfather was about to turn 90 years old, 56,000 miles away. Right. So what do? He's on an island. He can't go anywhere. Flights are all canceled. He decides that he's going to charter a sailboat and sail his happy butt across the Atlantic Ocean. 5,600 miles to his grandfather. Okay, he's a like, you know, experienced salesman. So not salesman, a sailor.
Sailor.
So do this. He's 47 years old. He decided he was just going to sail. So he did it. He did it, baby. You know, the crazy thing is that they weren't actually going to let him. He decided, like, all right, at the drop of a dime, I got to do this before they shut down the ports. Right. And so sure enough, like 24 hours after he left, they shut down the ports, and they warned him and said, if you leave, this is a one-way ticket. You are not coming back.
Right. You cannot come back.
Yeah. Yeah. And in all likelihood, other places are shutting their ports too. So good luck. You're going to be out there on your own for a long time.
This is giving me anxiety because of everything I do for my job.
I know.
Knowing what he did.
Oh
Holy
my God.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. So he was like, you know what? It's worth it. So he left. They shut down the port. He said he didn't want to stay like a coward on an island where there were no cases. He would have been totally 100% safe on this little island. So he said he wanted to do everything possible to return home. And the most important thing was for him to be with family. So he took a 29-foot sailboat with what he thought would be enough rice, fruit, canned tuna, wine to sustain
Well,
him.
you need the wine.
Did you guys hear that? The wine.
The wine.
So he was hoping that he would reach his destination in 75 days. But things started to kind of go awry. There was some hardships and danger. Food supply dwindled. He was trying, like in his plan, he was hoping to stop at Cape Verde and restock, and they refused entry.
Right, I was gonna say no.
Oh no.
Yeah. So then he ran out of fuel, like really hard, you know. He ran out of fuel on day 38. He ran out of wine. He was like,
what's he gonna do? Did he jump off the boat?
He's like, I'm out of here. No.
The sharks ate him, and that's how this ends.
He was doing just wind power basically, right? So it had to be windy because he ran out of fuel. He was having a really hard time, but in the end, he had such a happy birthday. He, reunion with his grandfather. So 85 days later, with all 85. Of his perseverance and love for his grandfather, he made it across the Atlantic Ocean. So kudos to you. You are definitely a badass.
Wow. He shows up with balloons. He's all weak.
I know. He's like
I made it. The grandpa's like, you're late.
I mean, so Dre, what port did he get into? What port did he get into when he went? And he was allowed in everything? Or
was it Fort Lauderdale?
No. I actually don't see where he actually made it. Oh, Argentina? Yeah. But this is like 3 months later, guys. 85 days later.
That's amazing. He's by himself, right? Think of what you have to go through by yourself. That's amazing. Yeah. That's a good badass.
He's gonna get a book deal now, man, or a movie.
I mean, seriously. I mean, he took beautiful photos. Like he got to be like seriously one with Mother Nature. And I feel like just the love of his family and the love for his grandfather really helped him push through. But dang, guys, I can't imagine 85 days on a boat by yourself. But I know I'm 100% sure he knew exactly what he was doing. He's just a badass. So
badass story of the week
for sure. Yeah. Yay!
Love it. Woo!
Yay!
Woo!
All right.
So everyone, check us out. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon.
Yes.
Message us. Email us, handcuffsandsage@gmail.com. We got a website.
handcuffsandsagepodcast.com.
Yay! Always send us messages. We friggin' love it. We need the reviews on iTunes, so thank you when you do that. Do the survey.
Yes.
Dre, where can we find the survey?
You can find the survey in our bio on Instagram.
Yes. Dre put it together. Please be brutally honest, because that's what we like.
For sure.
Yep.
We just appreciate everybody, and this is always so much fun. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And check out our Down the Rabbit Hole conspiracy theory episodes that drop every Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So thank you, everybody. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Yes.
All right. Remember, we do what we want. Woo! 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 All right, y'all. See you later.
Bye. Love you guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye. Handcuffs and Sage is hosted by Red, Timo, and Trey in a shitty guest room in Los Angeles.
Theme music is Leave Now by We Are Wasted. Cover art done by Megan Winchester. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Show us some love on iTunes. Be a badass and do what you want. Until next time.